Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on the HREBA Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Food, family fun, and great information await at the City of Arlington's 4th Annual Home Ownership Fair, Saturday, August 10th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Esports Stadium, Arlington and Expo Center. Receive information on credit repair, down payment assistance, home buying 101, and much more. This is an event you can't afford to miss. For more information and a chance to win prizes, go to arlingtontx.gov/homeownershipfair or call 817-459-6238.
Comida gratis, diversión en familia y excelente información lo esperan en la cuarta feria de propietario en la ciudad de Arlington. El evento es el sábado 10 de agosto, 9 a.m. a 2 p.m. en el Esports Stadium, Arlington and Expo Center. Encontrarás información acerca de mejorar de crédito, asistencia del desembolso inicial y mucho más. Para más información y la oportunidad de ganar premios, visita el sitio web arlingtontx.gov/homeownership fair.
Programming for the HREBA Show is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on the HREBA Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Free food, family fun, and great information await at the City of Arlington's 4th Annual Home Ownership Fair, Saturday, August 10th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Esports Stadium, Arlington and Expo Center. Receive information on credit repair, down payment assistance, home buying 101, and much more. This is an event you can't...
And in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hello, you're listening to The HREBA Show, Homeownership. Hear it from the experts in the Blue Stream of the Fishbowl Radio Network. Today, our topic is charter schools. So if you're listening, you have children, you've wondered about charter schools, we have all the answers for you today. We have our guests that are Brent Beasley and Alex Jimenez are here as our guests. They have very impressive resumes, but one thing they do have in common is that they believe that every child in Tarrant County has the opportunity to receive a quality public education. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. My name is Leticia Gallegos, President and CEO of the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association. So welcome, Alex and Brent, to the show.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
All right. So let's start with the first question, which is, what is a charter school?
Yeah, I can give you a pretty basic answer to that. Just basically, what is a charter school? It's a charter school is a public school in the sense that it gets its money from the state, just like all school districts get their money. But it operates sort of outside the local school district, and so it has some freedoms and autonomies to around curriculum and size of the school and hiring teachers and these kinds of things. They have a little more freedom to operate. They don't have a school board that's elected. They have a nonprofit board that runs the school, and so they can be innovative and try new things and be more flexible.
And one thing to remember about charter schools is they're not all alike. They're different. You know, you have charter schools that some are STEM schools. That's all they stress. There's some that are college preparatory schools. Their goal is for every kid that they graduate goes to college. And there's a couple in Tarrant County, and they have 100% track record of every kid that they graduate going to college. And 60% of those kids, it's usually the first kid in their families to go to college. There's some charter schools that are language schools that their deal is to every kid that graduates will be fluent in English, Spanish, and Chinese. So they're all different. Just like the schools that they have at Fort Worth ISD, they're different. They have STEM academies, they have language schools, they have art school, they have culinary. They're all different. So a charter school, they're not all alike, and they're not that much different from traditional ISD schools.
Okay, so there must be some kind of difference. Can you tell us what the difference is between a charter school and a traditional ISD school, Brent?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most basic differences is how they're governed. You know, we just got through with school board elections here in Fort Worth, and charter schools don't have elected school boards like that. So they have a board like any kind of nonprofit organization has, and that allows them to be a little more flexible with how they do things. They are often smaller schools. They don't have to be, but often they're smaller schools. They can try new things. They are accountable to the state for their testing scores and all of that, but outside of that, they can really do something different. They were really created to be sort of laboratories for innovation for public schools.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest difference is the boards. The school, the traditional ISD schools, there's elections, and when you have elections, then there's a lot of issues arise from that. But when a charter school finds a business person or someone interested in the school systems, they'll say, "Would you like to serve on this school board?" And the boards that I've attended, the board meetings, you'll see people from corporate America, from small businesses, parents, and they're very, very effective. The size makes a difference as well. When you talked about Dallas or Fort Worth ISDs, they're big traditional ISDs. And with it comes a lot of history over the last 50 years and a lot of regulations. While there's the same regulations at the charter school, they're smaller. And it's been my impression when I visit a charter school that they're more like a family. If there's a kid struggling, they really are able to get all hands on deck to help that kid, whatever the issue may be.
Okay, so for our listeners out there, you're saying that they can get more involved in a charter school on many different levels. So you all listening out there, if your child is going to a charter school or you're thinking about enrolling them in a charter school, stay tuned because we still have more information. So that's really great. That's the difference between a charter school and the traditional ISD schools. So where do charter schools get their funding? The boards are independent, and they have a board of directors like a nonprofit does. So where does their funding come from?
Yeah,
if I may, Brent, I would say that their operating costs, to pay the teachers or whatever, comes from the state of Texas, just like the Dallas ISD schools, like the Fort Worth ISD schools, the traditional ISD schools. The difference is when they are needing to build the campuses, they have to raise that money, and they go through foundations, through grants from the federal government, and they'll raise the money that way.
Yeah, charter schools aren't allowed to hold bond elections like districts do. So the Fort Worth ISD just a couple of years ago did a really big bond election to build new schools and repair old facilities. Charter schools they can't do that, so they just have to rely on that per pupil funding, which is what the districts get. So yeah, they rely on philanthropy and other sources to build buildings.
Wow, that's great information. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with some more great information about charter schools. If you want to join the conversation, please call us at 214-431-5062. If you have any questions, give us a call. Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on the REBA Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Free food, family fun, and great information await at the City of Arlington's 4th Annual Home Ownership Fair, Saturday, August 10th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Esports Stadium Arlington and Expo Center. Receive information on credit repair, down payment assistance, home buying 101, and much more. This is an event you can't afford to miss. For more information and a chance to win prizes, go to arlingtontx.gov/homeownershipfair or call 817-459-6238.
Comida gratis, diversión en familia y excelente información lo esperan en la cuarta feria de propietario en la ciudad de Arlington. El evento es el sábado 10 de agosto, 9 a.m. a 2 p.m. en el Esports Stadium Arlington and Expo Center. Encontrarás información acerca de mejorar de crédito, asistencia del desembolso inicial y mucho más. Para más información y la oportunidad de ganar premios, visita el sitio web arlingtontx.gov/homeownership fair.
Programming for the REBA Show is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on the REBA Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Free food, family fun, and great information await at the City of Arlington's 4th Annual Home Ownership Fair, Saturday, August 10th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Esports Stadium Arlington and Expo Center. Receive information on credit repair, down payment assistance, home buying 101, and much more. This is an event you can't afford to miss. For more information and a chance to win prizes, go to arlingtontx.gov/homeownership fair or call 817-459-6238.
Comida gratis, diversión en familia y excelente información lo esperan en la cuarta feria de propietario en la ciudad de Arlington. El evento es el sábado 10 de agosto, 9 a.m. a 2 p.m. en el Esports Stadium Arlington and Expo Center. Encontrarás información acerca de mejorar de crédito, asistencia del desembolso inicial y mucho más. Para más información y la oportunidad de ganar premios, visita
Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
You're listening to the REBA Show, Homeownership. Hear it from the experts on the Blue Stream of the Fishbowl Radio Network. So our topic today is charter schools. And you may be asking, well, what does charter schools have to do with homeownership? Well, it's kind of obvious. When you're looking to purchase a home or move, you look at schools, and that's very important to a lot of families. So we thought this topic would be a really great topic for you today. If you're a parent or you know a parent that has children in schools, you can share this information with them. So again, we have with us as our guests Brent Beasley and Alex Jimenez, and they are the experts when it comes to charter schools. So again, welcome, guys. And so the accountability. So ISDs have an accountability with the state. So are charters accountable to the state testing just like ISDs are?
Yeah, they are. They take all the same state tests that the districts take, and they have consequences if they don't do well on those tests in the same way the districts do. Actually, it's actually easier for the state to close a charter school than a traditional school or district school.
I think that's an important point, Brent, because it is easier to close a charter school. And I got to say that if you look at the North Texas area, there's good schools everywhere. And there's some schools that need improvement. Whether you're a traditional ISD school, there's some great things going on in Fort Worth ISD, wonderful things going, and a lot of kids are learning. There are some schools that need improvement. Not all charter schools are the same. There are some that are doing great. There are some not doing so well. And it's important that the state can come in and intervene and say, you're not performing, you're not doing what you said you were going to do, so we're going to close you down. It's a lot easier to do with a charter school than a traditional ISD school.
Yeah, you're talking about the connection to home ownership. I mean, all these choices in education really sort of open up the marketplace for home ownership. I mean, often we felt like we had to choose only in this small circle of neighborhoods because of this is where a supposedly good school is. But when you have options, like, of course, you have your local neighborhood schools, and maybe that's your best option, but you also have schools of choice that are part of the districts. So like in Fort Worth, there's Young Men's Leadership Academy or Young Women's Leadership Academy. There's a World Languages Institute. These are all district schools, but they don't have attendance zones, so you can opt into those no matter where you live. And then on top of that, then you have all some real high quality charter schools out there. Also, they don't have attendance zones and boundaries, so it kind of opens up your thinking. I think when you're thinking about where to buy a house, in that you're not bound by those boundaries that we have traditionally had.
Okay, Brent. So I see what you're saying. So when can you apply for registration in a charter school?
Yeah, most charters open up their application process in February, and it's a pretty simple application. It's it's just sort of your name and address and basic information. The charters aren't allowed to look at applications and pick who they think might be the best students. You just give them your name and address, and they do a lottery. If they have more applications than spaces, they do a lottery. So it's just a random drawing. But most of them do this around in February. But then if they don't fill up right away, even now in May, if they still have openings, you could apply right now if you wanted to.
Okay, listeners, if you want to join the conversation, please call us at 214-431-5062. So, Brent, what you just said is that everyone is welcome. There's not a vetting. There's not a grade, that
right.
they look at. Is that,
right?
That's true?
That's one of the misconceptions about charters is that they sort of skim the top. They take the best kids, but that's actually really not the case. They're not allowed to do that. They're not allowed to look at a kid's grades or test scores or anything like that and pick on that basis.
The other thing I like about charter schools is the ones that really prepare their kids for college. They usually go into the area of need, usually low-income neighborhoods, and then they'll recruit kids from the zip code. So the kids usually don't have a car, so they can walk to they can walk to school, or the parents can drop them off on the way to work. So it's really important that they focus on that low income area. And then most of the schools that I know that are moving into Tarrant County, most of their kids are on free and reduced lunch. And they do a great job of bringing, if the kid is behind grade level, they do a great job of bringing that kid up to grade level. Time the college prep colleges, time they graduate, they get accepted to college, and it's 100% track record of doing that.
That's really great. That's really great. That's great for you out there that are listening, that you don't, I agree with you. The misconception is that they take the cream of the crop, and that those are the ones that go into those brand new buildings that are gorgeous. Because, I don't have kids in school right now, but that's what I thought, because I didn't have the knowledge. So thank you for being here and sharing that knowledge. So tell me, Brent, how many charter schools are in Tarrant County?
There's about 20-something charter schools in the county. There's about 27,000 kids in Tarrant County who are in charter schools. And that sounds like a lot, but like Fort Worth ISD has 87,000 kids in it. Arlington has 50,000 or so. So there's about 400,000 kids in public schools in the county overall. So charter schools have about 27,000 of those right now. So I don't know if I can do that math in my head right now to tell you what percentage that is, but it's it's not a huge number, but it's a significant amount of kids, and they're growing. There are more charters coming to Tarrant County, and some that are already here are growing in the next few years.
Okay, so Alex, do you think that, it's, to me it sounds like it's definitely an improvement for the disadvantaged child to have a charter school in the neighborhood, right?
Yes, it is an advantage, because if you think about myself, when I grew up, I didn't have a car until I was a senior in high school. And I grew up in a small town, so when I couldn't find a ride, I was able to walk to school. And it was still a couple of miles, but again, it wasn't insurmountable. A lot of times a friend of mine would pick me up. He had a motorcycle, so I had to ride behind him. And it wasn't too bad unless it was raining, then it wasn't too nice a ride. But you got to school. I think the idea I like about them coming into areas in Fort Worth and neighborhoods, they're creating a sense of community, a sense of family. It's kind of like I had when I grew up, because I knew all the kids growing up in that whole town. The kids, if they recruit from that zip code, then they're all grew up together, and they hopefully go from 1st grade to 12th grade, and they'll remember the experience, and they'll be friends for a long time.
That's really great. I love the fact that they're focusing on disadvantage. Recently, I was at a meeting, and I heard that, which is very, very shocking to me, that in Arlington ISD, 67% of students are disadvantaged. That's serious.
Right.
So we're going to take a break right now, and we'll be back with more great information about charter schools. It's good. Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on the HREBA Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Free food, family fun, and great information await at the City of Arlington's 4th Annual Home Ownership Fair, Saturday, August 10th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Esports Stadium Arlington and Expo Center. Receive information on credit repair, down payment assistance, home buying 101, and much more. This is an event you can't afford to miss. For more information and a chance to win prizes, go to arlingtontx.gov/homeownershipfair or call 817-459-6238.
Comida gratis, diversión en familia y excelente información lo esperan en la cuarta feria de propietario en la ciudad de Arlington. El evento es el sábado 10 de agosto, 9 a.m. a 2 p.m. en el Esports Stadium Arlington and Expo Center. Encontrarás información acerca de mejorar de crédito, asistencia del desembolso inicial y mucho más. Para más información y la oportunidad de ganar premios, visita el sitio web arlingtontx.gov/homeownership fair.
Programming for the HREBA Show is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on the HREBA Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Free food, family fun, and great information await at the City of Arlington's 4th Annual Home Ownership Fair, Saturday, August 10th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Esports Stadium Arlington and Expo Center. Receive information on credit repair, down payment assistance, home buying 101, and much more. This is an event you can't afford to miss. For more information and a chance to win prizes, go to arlingtontx.gov/homeownershipfair or call 817-459-62.
Programming for the REBA Show is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
You're listening to The REBA Show, homeownership. Hear it from the experts in the Blue Stream of the Fishbowl Radio Network. Again, my name is Leticia Gallegos. I'm the host today, President and CEO of the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association. And with me today, I have Brent Beasley and Alex Jimenez, very passionate about charter schools, and that's our topic today, charter schools. So let's continue, guys, with the conversation. This is really great information. And again, if you want to join our conversation, you can call in at 214-431-5062. And so we talked about how many charter schools are in Tarrant County. Are charter schools in competition with ISDs? Do they work together? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a sense in which there is some competition in that, there are kids, if a kid goes to a charter and leaves a traditional district school, the state funding follows that kid. So the funding goes with the kid to the charter. So there's a sense of competition there in a way. And in some cities, the charters and the school districts really kind of butt heads about that. They don't get along very well. We've tried to do that differently here in Tarrant County, and we've tried to see it as more everybody's working together to educate kids. So we're not competing with each other. We're competing together toward this goal that every kid has access to a quality education. So there are a lot of ways that we're trying to work together in Tarrant County instead of just being in competition with each other.
Yeah, I think it's really important that the traditional ISD, in our case, Fort Worth ISD, and some of these charter schools work very closely together to address growth as they move forward. There's a lot of folks moving into Tarrant County. The schools, or be it Fort Worth or Keller or Northwest ISD, they're gaining students. Charter schools are moving in as well, but it would be a smart idea if they work together to say, where should a school go? Where's the area of need, and who's the best school to do it? It could be a Fort Worth ISD school. It could be a Uplift. It could be a ILT, which is a language school. But I believe there's room for everyone. If everybody would just look across the board and say, let's work together, because at the end of the day, it's all about these kids. And wouldn't it be great that if every kid in Tarrant County could read and write at their grade level when they graduated from high school, whether they went to college or not, if they could read or write at their grade level when they graduate, they can be anything they want to be. And can you imagine the kids that are graduating today who cannot read at their grade level? They're going to struggle the rest of their lives. And Brandon and I are very adamant that if we can do anything about it, we're going to try to get there to where every kid in Tarrant County can read and write their grade level by the time they graduate from high school.
Yeah, that's very important, very, very important. So, Brent, you said that the funding for each child follows the child, whether they go to a charter school or an ISD school, because they're both public schools,
right.
Correct? So, can you tell us approximately how much money is with each child that goes?
Yeah,
with it?
It's about it's really complicated, and I don't understand all of it by any means, but it's about $8,000 or $9,000 per student, based on their attendance. So,
and this is per school year?
Yeah. So for every kid in a school, that school gets about $8,000 or $9,000 per student. And so whether that's a charter school or a district school, and then like we talked about earlier, the districts can raise money through bonds to pay for facilities and things like that on top of that. The charters don't get to do that, but that's about what it is.
Okay, so the schools are beautiful. Charter schools, you all that are listening know that you drive by a charter school, it's brand new, it looks really sophisticated and beautiful. So who pays for the building?
Good question. Like we've said, all charters are different and they all have different sort of models, but a lot of them go to charitable foundations and seek philanthropy to support the building of their new schools. Since they can't get that state funding for facilities, they rely on the philanthropic community to support them.
Because they're a nonprofit, 501c3 nonprofit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we have a call for us, and we have a question. So hello, you're on the REBA Show. What is your question?
Question is, when schools are rated, is there a rating for different charter schools? Each individual school?
So Brett, will you answer that?
Yeah, the charters have the same rating system as the district schools. So right now it's on sort of a 0 to 100 basis. So if, let's say, a school is a 78, that could be a district school. They have the same rating as a charter. So it's actually pretty easy to compare performance based on the state ratings because they use the exact same.
Okay, thank you for your question. So are you saying that if we go to the, when a home buyer is looking at schools, they go into the website, which is the TEA, correct?
Yeah, I believe that's greatschools.org. I think greatschools.org. I could be wrong about that, but it's okay. But if you look up the Texas State Accountability Ratings, online, you can look up by charter school or by district school. You can find all those.
Okay, so say that again. Texas.
I think it's texasschools.org actually.
But the credibility rating.
Yeah,
if
Texas.
Google,
Texas Accountability Ratings.
There you go. Texas Accountability Ratings.
Yeah.
And that breaks it down by charter and ISD schools.
Right. And I work for several foundations, and we're working on a map right now that takes those ratings and says those that are basically an A or a B rating, we're calling those high quality schools. And we're working on a map that would show the county and you could look up areas and see dots that represent quality schools, A and B schools, and then red dots maybe that represent the lower quality. So I think that could be something really helpful for everybody as you're trying to learn about where the good, where are good schools. And that would be district schools and charter schools we want to put on that map. So
okay. So that brings up another question. I'm sure y'all out there are wondering, you hear from your friends and everybody talks about schools and they say, oh, this is the great school district or a great charter school and this one is not. So is there a fine line, or how can someone not get too into that part of the discovery? Is there concrete data that you mentioned going to the websites and checking it out, and that's concrete data. So in other words, do we listen to our friends, or, it's important that we do our research, right? Alex, when you're looking to see the quality of the school itself?
I think if wherever you're located in Tarrant County, for example, I think if it's a low-income area or if it's a higher income area, you're not very far from a good school. It could be a Fort Worth ISD school. It could be a charter school. And I think it's one of those things where to get involved, and in fact, that's one thing I would ask the listeners. If you're in North Texas, whether in Keller ISD or Dallas ISD or Carrollton, wherever you are, get involved with the school, whether it's a Fort Worth traditional ISD school or it's a charter school. Go look, because they all need volunteers. They all need people who are interested in helping kids learn how to read and write and be successful. Now, what I would do is look at that accountability rating and check each school where I live, and then go visit some of these schools. I guarantee you will be welcome, because there's some very good things going on in all schools. Fort Worth ISD is doing great things. Dallas ISD is doing great things. They are really making strides to improve all their schools. And I think if they all need volunteers. charter schools are doing a great job, but they need volunteers. So that's what I would say. Get involved, check it out, come and go visit a school. They'll welcome you.
Yeah, that's great. That's great information. And I'm sure that a lot of parents do get involved. A lot of community parents do get involved, but there's still a need. There's still a need for that. So we're going to take another break, and if you want to join the conversation, please call us 214-431-5062, and we'll be right back. Okay. Boy,
Where that guy come?
He was. Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on the HREBA Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Free food, family fun, and great information await at the City of Arlington's 4th Annual Home Ownership Fair, Saturday, August 10th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Esports Stadium Arlington and Expo Center. Receive information on credit repair, down payment assistance, home buying 101, and much more. This is an event you can't afford to miss. For more information and a chance to win prizes, go to arlingtontx.gov/homeownership fair or call 817-459-6238.
Comida gratis, diversión en familia y excelente información lo esperan en la cuarta feria de propietario en la ciudad de Arlington. El evento es el sábado 10 de agosto, 9 a.m. a 2 p.m. en el Esports Stadium Arlington and Expo Center. Encontrarás información acerca de mejorar de crédito, asistencia del desembolso inicial y mucho más. Para más información y la oportunidad de ganar premios, visita el sitio web arlingtontx.gov/homeownership fair.
Programming for the HREBA Show is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on the HREBA Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Free food, family fun, and great information await at the City of Arlington's 4th Annual Home Ownership Fair, Saturday, August 10th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Esports Stadium Arlington and Expo Center. Receive information on credit repair, down payment assistance, home buying 101, and much more. This is an event you can't afford to miss. For more information and a chance to win prizes, go to arlingtontx.gov/homeownership fair or call 817-459-6238.
Comida gratis, diversión en familia y excelente información lo esperan en la cuarta feria de propietario en la ciudad de Arlington. El evento es el sábado 10 de agosto, 9 a.m. a 2 p.m. en el Esports Stadium Arlington and Expo Center. Encontrarás información acerca de mejorar de crédito, asistencia del desembolso inicial y mucho.
Is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hello, you're listening to the HREBA Show, Home Ownership. Hear it from the experts in the Blue Stream of the Fishbowl Radio Network. Again, my name is Leticia Gallegos, hosting today. I'm the president and CEO of the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association. My guest today is Alex Jimenez and Brent Beasley, and our topic is charter schools. So we have a call on the line right now. Go ahead and ask your question.
So, my children are very interested in robotics engineering, and did some research regarding the different charter schools. I left a little bit more confused than when I went in. Not exactly sure. They seem to offer about the same in different areas. Just not sure if they would qualify if we're not in that district or in the boundaries of those schools. So it seems like a few of them offered similar courses, but not exactly sure how to select one of those schools.
Have you looked at Harmony schools by any chance?
No.
Harmony is a STEM school. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That's all they do. From almost pre-K to 12th grade, that's what they stress. So there's Harmony schools and I don't know where you're located, but I know there's Harmony schools in Euless,
South Fort
Worth. But Harmony, and like we said earlier, that charter schools are different. There's some that stress language and some that stress college preparatory. But Harmony is your typical STEM school. And I would say, I think I heard you say your kids were interested in engineering. That might be a good approach if you look up Harmony schools. I think you'd be very impressed with them.
Thank you.
Yeah,
right.
It's a good question. Just to acknowledge it is complicated, and it's sort of hard for parents to navigate this whole system. Like when I was growing up, we didn't have all these choices, for school. I just walked down to the school that was 2 blocks away from my house. You can still do that today, but now you have all these other choices. The districts have all kinds of programs, and then you have all the charter schools. So it is complicated, and I think we have to find better ways to help parents like this gentleman who just called to learn what their options are.
That's true. And so the takeaway, what I'm hearing, and I'm sure our audience will agree, is that the ISDs and charter schools are working together to better the education of our students, right? It's important that there's a collaboration and working together for that. And so when we're looking at, we don't have right now a specific website that we can send our listeners to, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's still a need. This is still a growing topic. So there's not yet a one place that you can go to find all charter.
Right.
A center place.
Yeah, we've gotten a group together over the last couple of years of some of the better charter schools and also Fort Worth ISD leadership, and we get them together and to meet so that they can at least discuss, get to know each other, talk about issues that they have in common, try to work together, at least communicate about locations. You don't want to put schools right on top of each other. So we try to get them talking, and one of the things we've talked about quite a bit is there needs to be some sort of central location on the internet for people to go and find information. One thing we did do is last January we did a school choice fair for parents. And so we had 8 charter schools and Fort Worth ISD at Tarrant County College, the South Campus, in January. And everybody had a booth, and parents could go around and get information on those schools, and they could even, in some cases, fill out applications to enroll. So we're going to do that again this coming January, and hopefully it'll be a bigger and better event. But that's the best thing we have going right now as far as letting parents know, about their choices.
That's great. Will you tell us about when your next event is so we can put
Sure.
it on the radio?
Yeah, sure will.
We want to make sure you get good attendance and that our listeners know what's going on in the community, especially when it comes to education. So I just have one more quick question. So a parent with a charter school, what are the grade levels? It's like kindergarten through, tell me about it, 12th grade?
Pre-K to 12th grade.
Pre-K to 12th grade. Does that mean then that if I'm dropping off my child and one is in 1st grade and one is in 8th grade, they both go to the same school?
My understanding is if your 8th grader gets to school there, then the siblings get priority to go to that school.
Okay.
And I think, do you understand it that way,
that's
Brent?
right. Family members get to go, yeah.
Okay.
And not all charters go through 12th grade. There's Chapel Hill Academy is one down in Southwest Fort Worth, and they They go through, I think they stop at 8th grade. So there's a few that are different, but most of them are K through 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect information. I'm sure you agree, audience, that this is great information for you today. So let me ask you guys a personal question. So tell us, Alex, what does homeownership mean to you personally? Homeownership. And I'll get to you, Brent, in a second.
To me, it means that it's the biggest investment you're probably going to make in your life. And if you have a great house, a great location, then everything else is going to be easy. If you're struggling to make a payment, if you're having to drive 50 miles to work, I don't want that lifestyle. Yeah. You know, what I want is my house paid off, which I'm lucky that it is paid off, and then I don't have to drive very far to work. You know, that kind of thing. So I think it's very important that home and family, there's nothing more important except maybe God, of course, but with home and family, I mean, you can probably you'll be okay. So I think it's very important to get there. And again, it goes back to education. If we help these kids and they graduate and they can read and write, and they can go, if they want to go to college, they can. If they want to start a business, they can. If they want to go to work, they can. They can do a lot of things, and then they can lift themselves up to where they can buy a house, and they can have home ownership, and they can have kids, and those kids can go on to college, and then we'll all have a better community.
Awesome. What about you, Brent? What does it mean to you personally?
I wish I could say my house was paid off, like you said. My wife and I just bought a house in October, so I will be 77 when it's paid off. So
I'll buy you a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
No, thank goodness that we can pay in advance some payment, right, towards the principal. Yes, that's what we teach our all of our clients. So.
Yeah, when we bought this house, we thought about all the kinds of things I guess everybody thinks about. We thought about schools. We've got kids that are still in school, so we thought about getting in the zone for the schools we wanted to go to, and kind of the part of town we wanted to live in, and close to work. I'm with Alex. I like to live close to work if possible. I don't want a long commute. So yeah, I love to sort of invest in one place and let that feel like my place.
That's great. That's great. I wanted our listeners to hear from you what it means to you, because it all boils down to the same thing for every family, is that it just gives up us an opportunity to build our roots and go from there. So here at the HREBA Show, we inform and we serve. We bring information about home ownership, whether people are preparing to purchase their home or sustain the home that they already have. And our hope is that you, listener, will engage with us here on the HREBA Show and become a loyal fan of this HREBA Show. Again, I'm here today. My name is Leticia Gallegos with our guest, Alex Jimenez, Brent Beasley. Thank you guys so much for making time for us today. We really appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. I'd just like to mention that we have an event. The Arlington Police, with the Grupo Unidos, La Policía Trabajando con la Comunidad Hispana, which is the police working with the Hispanic community, is having an event June 8th on a Saturday at Vandergrift Park. If you are interested in coming out, they're going to have fun events there for the entire Arlington community. We at the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association, we're a registered 501c3 nonprofit corporation. We've been streaming live on Facebook. You can see a replay of the video on the HREBA Show on our Facebook page, and also on our YouTube channel, the HREBA Show. So we really appreciate you listening. You can learn about topics that we have planned for upcoming shows on our website, rebaconnect.org, by clicking the HREBA Show. If you have any specific questions or comments, you may email us at rebashow@rebaconnect.org. Again, I am Leticia Gallegos, President and CEO of the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association. Thank you for listening. Have a great afternoon.
If I may, before we get off the air, I'm sorry, but I need to put this plug in.
Sure.
What we've done is we presented to REBA, Brandon and I, what charter schools are. We have that group together. We work with the Greater Fort Worth Association of Realtors.
Yeah.
We do tours, basically one tour a month during the school season. So I believe it's next September, we'll have a tour. So either contact REBA, because I want your members to join us on those tours, or contact the Greater Fort Worth Association of Realtors, and they will tell you when the schedule is. But we would love to have 30 or 40 realtors at a time to go look at these. What we normally do is tour a charter school and a Fort Worth ISD school, so they can see what's going on in school system.
Okay, that's great for the professional, the realtor, to be aware so they in turn can educate their clients about what's available
Yes,
out
ma'am.
there. Thank you, Alex, so much. Thank you for listening. Have a great afternoon. How do we do on time? We're good on time.